welcome to the podcast where the only thing thicker than our follicle count is the thick layer of absurdity. Brace yourselves for episode 2, season 2 of Two Bald Men Fighting Over a Comb, the show where two cold heads engage in the most epic duel of bald bravado you'll ever hear. Join us for a wild ride of follicle fantasies and nonsensical nuggets of wisdom. New season, new format, but the same old stupidity for your oral pleasure. Join us as we navigate our way through Speaker's Corner, Dead Donkeys, Iguana's Igloo, Back in My Day, Tomorrow's World, Misanthropic Meltdowns, and Karaoke Consequences. So Tom, talk to me about butt plug cheating.
It's something that I've been known to do.
Why is it called the plug? Because it doesn't. I mean, if you needed to shit, that'd come out, right? It's not exactly a plug. I'd never understand.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. Well, if you want to be more precise, you could call it a temporary butt plug.
Temporary one. All right. You know, they say if you go travelling, because if you go in hotel rooms, those hostels, they don't have plugs in them. So they say take a squash ball.
No, they say take a plug. Don't they?
Take your whole sink. Just put it in your backpack.
Yeah, well, why don't other countries have?
I think it's to stop
plugs?
flooding and stuff like that. So they just think, people who go travelling are general nincompoops. So they don't have plugs.
Or to stop the theft of plugs.
You're not going to get much on the black market for a bit of chain and plastic rubber stopper thing. So yeah, squash ball. Not that I'd want to use that as a butt plug, any kind of plug to do with my butt, because I'd probably lose it and go past the bite, Oh!
You silly man.
Sorry.
Stop coughing. I've got to edit it out.
Don't worry about it.
I do worry about it.
I was laughing.
It was quite a lot of minutes of my life editing your coughs out from last week.
Butt plug cheating.
Oh yeah, I want to go back to squash balls.
Squash balls.
I always thought that
if you sit down too much.
Balls.
Oh, was it you who said you sat on the? Oh, that was a friend of mine. He sat on the back of a bus and it went over a bump, and he ended up sitting on his testicles. But he was only like 18, so I imagine he was an Arantillion already.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say 18.
18, yeah. I ain't got any friends who are 80. Well, my next door neighbour, but he's deaf now, so you can't really have a conversation with him.
He's dead.
Deaf.
So you can't.
He's like you fucking moron.
L'igloo de l'iguane. Iguana's Igloo.
You've heard of a guy called Hans Niemann. He's a
Hans Niemann. That sounds like
Hans Niemann.
Sounds like a start of a Hans. I think isn't his real name Hans Knees and Toesen? Isn't that his real name?
Yes, very good.
Right.
Very good. Yeah, I can put that in as well as a jingle. But yeah, he was accused. He was like world number 98 at chess, and he beat world number 1 Magnus Carlsen in the Sinkfield Cup, and Magnus Carlsen spat his dummy out. Spat his butt plug out. No, yeah, he spat his dummy out, and he basically accused Hans Niemann of cheating because of his moves were a bit fishy. And he was convinced that he was cheating, and he basically... I don't think he actually accused him of using a vibrating butt plug, or whether other people jumped on the wagon and sort of guessed that he was using a vibrating butt plug while he was sat with Morse code. Someone was basically using one of these... Chat GPT things, or what's it called? Stockfish is the chess the chess computer, which can beat everyone 100% of the time. And there's someone sat there putting the moves in and Morse coding the moves with the grid references on the chessboard through a butt plug into Hans Niemann.
Wow, I mean, isn't that like an area of perhaps like an erogenous zone for men? Could it not? If you could get an involuntary kind of erection and stuff, and it's like... Maybe
that's how Magnus Carlsen realised there was something up.
Yeah, the table started tilting. It's like, what the fuck? Every time you make a move, the table kind of raises a little bit, and all the pieces kind of slowly slant towards me a bit. What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you cheating at chess?
Okay, so what's your idea then about this whole butt plug cheating? Is that what you want to develop? Well, it's already been developed.
Yeah, I think we need to develop the technology so we can maybe shrink the butt plugs a bit so they're not so intrusive and not so erogenous. So
Wouldn't they need to
tapping.
be a certain size though? If they're going to vibrate, for actually to, I mean, plus you've got to understand Morse code. I think that would be the big, I'd just be like,
That'd be the problem
I'd be
with you
like,
doing it.
what the fuck? I'd probably just keep my finger down on the button and just watch you kind of
Yeah, what would you square?
squirm and then
But I thought we could sell the service to.
cheaters.
Yeah, we could set it to cheaters in any sports who need to know information, or to kids doing their A levels.
Yeah. Kids, I
the
don't
only
think
problem is
you can get away with like butt plugs in kids.
Oh, I didn't think of this.
Tom, there was this thing. Someone told me once, like there's because talking in front of people with my friends and stuff like that. Yes, I'm quite funny and everything else. But then if it's a group of people, like presentations and stuff, I generally clam up. And then someone said to me, like, bit of advice. He said, "What you want to do?" This back in like the 90s. Just picture everyone naked, and then you'll kind of relax and all this stuff, right? The only problem is part of my job when I graduated, is like you're doing like outreach with schools and stuff. So I had to stand in front of like 100 kids. I was like, I'm a bit no, can't do that. It's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? So yeah, advice. It's
We're
fucking
going
shit
down
advice.
this route
We are
again.
going down
Not
that route,
me.
but what shit advice? Not that I didn't take it. I was just bluffed my way through talking about how wonderful it is to work for a big company, and it's like, no, I don't believe in this shit. No, just be who you want to be. Don't work for a big company because they were just shit. Anyway, okay, so pitch
would
me.
you invest in? So the pitch is basically we're the consultants again. We're working with the people who need the cheating, and we'll be the people who develop the butt plugs, and we'll sit on the other end and tap in.
Sit on the other end. How big is this butt plug?
It's a double-ended butt plug.
I think they might know we're cheating with the fact that we're joined. Who's the person behind you? Don't worry about it. It's just, we're attached to birth. It looks nothing like you.
Yeah, human centipede again.
Exactly. He's a good few years older than you, so he can't be conjoined. But I think this thing already exists in that, you got butt plug. Because obviously it's been done before. Yes, he got found out. But it's only because of it wasn't necessarily
Well,
to
they settled outside of court, so
Well,
we'll never
what, they
know
had a
whether it's
fight?
true or not. They had a fight.
Oh, right.
They took it outside.
Well, because the thing is, it wasn't necessarily the means in which he got caught from the butt plug. It was the fact that he was making these really super brilliant moves. That was what triggered this guy to say, right. So what it is like,
I thought it was the erection tipping the table.
it might have been that as well. There's two things: the erection, but then it could be like, he gets erect every time he comes up with a really good move.
Or it could be just he fancies Magnus Carlsen.
Could be.
Because of his excellent skills and floppy hair.
Checkmate.
Dead donkey. Dead donkey.
Have you heard of this guy called Craig McKinley?
No, I've not heard of Craig McKinley.
Yeah, it's just a news story I saw the other day, and I thought of we should have covered it, or we should cover it slightly different, or how I would have liked to have seen it covered. So I'll just read you this brief thing, which was on the Guardian. So Craig McKinley, the Conservative MP who had his hands and feet amputated last year due to sepsis, returned to the Commons chamber for the first time since his illness. So McKinley, the MP for South Thanet, who said he will stand again for his seat, arrived just before Prime Minister's questions, which were the science and technology questions which were taking place. So they all paused and all the MPs stood to applaud him. And he ignored their applause before taking his seat. And then the Conservative, Julia Lopez, who's the science minister.
Do you say he ignored that?
No, he didn't ignore them. He acknowledged. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm being pedantic. So.
All right. He acknowledged their applause. And anyway, then Julia Lopez, the science minister, resumed her answer after saying, "What an appropriate way to walk in on science questions for the new bionic MP." So later on in the Prime Minister's questions, McKinley, he asked a question and then he used it to pay tribute to the NHS staff who treated him, among others, and to seek, greater recognition for the early signs of sepsis, which affected him in September, as I say, last year. So McKinley underwent a quadruple amputation in December and was fitted with prosthetic legs and hands. And what got me about this story was the fact that they all stood and applauded him, right? Because if I was that guy, I'd be like, oh, thanks for fucking reminding me of the two things I can't do without these prostheses.
Well, there's probably more he can't do than that.
Well, if he's got no feet and no hands, he can't. Well, he could stand on his. Well, don't know what he's got, but he couldn't clap, not without causing maybe a little fire, sparks flying or something. But no, I just thought it was a little bit odd. And now I think he's now come out and said that he isn't going to stand for his seat because, like all the Conservatives, because they know they're going to lose, they're just like, oh, fuck this, I'm not putting myself through all this crap. I don't want to go door to door having these people just basically hurling abuse at me. So, no, I just thought as a spin on that, just to have him come up saying, like, all the MPs kind of offended this poor guy because, standing and applauding him.
Mm.
You don't seem impressed.
Well, it's not. Is it much of a change on the story?
Well, it is. It's the fact that it's like no one mentioned the fact that they stood and applauded him. It's like could they have come up with something different?
Oh, so I get what you're saying, but so you're sort of going for the line of that MPs are insensitive.
To a certain degree, it's like when it used to be that if something happened to somebody, like they disappeared or someone went missing, and they said, "Oh, our thoughts and prayers are with them." It's like, well, you can save your prayers. Yeah, if the person doesn't believe in any of the gods or whatever, and now they just say, "Oh, our thoughts," with them and their family and stuff. But it used to be like thoughts and prayers, and it's just like, fuck that, prayers. Then fine. Why doesn't God or whoever it is bring them back then?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I'm not a godly man, I'm a heathen, but if someone who is religious says "God bless you" to me, I don't get upset about it.
No, I would say I get upset,
nice.
but I just think that whole thing about there's that blanket thing, isn't there? And I prayers. It's like, well, it's like, for example, if you I think Ricky Gervais was saying about people who are undergoing cancer treatment, and someone says, "Oh, I'll say a prayer for them." It's like, yeah, but we'll keep the leukemia treatment going, because really, yes, they don't need to say that. They could just say, your thought, tell him he's in our thoughts. Doesn't need to say I'm going to say a prayer for him. It's like, well, it doesn't matter shit.
Yeah, I suppose there's a fine line between like a natural outpouring of emotion or respect or whatever it was towards this Craig McKinley in the Commons. It did look fairly genuine, and people just doing stuff because they feel like they have to.
What did you think about the whole clap for carers during the pandemic?
People may well individually be glad we have an NHS and be glad there are people out there who are nurses, but on a macro scale, do they want to pay for it? No, they don't really. No. They want to pay as little as possible. So, it's put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I remember putting the bins out, forgetting it was like 8 o'clock. Put the bins out.
You thought you were getting a round of applause.
The whole street applauded me. It's like, this is the best fucking night of my life. Do you want to talk to me about Gertrude the Flamingo?
Yes, I do.
This show, or?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah, this is another dead donkey story.
I think my one was definitely a dead donkey. It
Definitely
fucking stank. That's how dead it was. It was an ass.
It's the one that's under my lawn.
But lies in the garden.
Yeah. Anywho, Gertrude the Flamingo was in the news all over the world.
I missed that one.
You missed it?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe more important things were happening in the world, like Donald Trump getting... No, this was a couple of weeks ago. Gertrude the Flamingo, who is quite old. She's 70 years old.
Wow, how old do flamingos live to then?
About 40.
Bloody hell.
So she's nearly double the age, and but she's I associate with her because she's too old and she's unlucky in love.
Oh, really?
And she's never like laid an egg and had a chick.
So, or you're hooking up with her, right? two
yeah.
birds with one of your stones.
Luscious long legs. No, she. But then at 70, she laid her first egg.
But it was useless, wasn't it? Because it's like this.
It was useless, yeah. I mean, but it's the fact that she laid it at 70 and they only lived to 40, and then she cared for it like a flamingo half her age. And I did all the maternal things with it. I mean, it's not going to turn into a proper flamingo.
It might be. I mean, it might be the fact that her bits where the egg comes out with were not developed or very small, smaller than your typical flamingos, and it's taken her 30 years to
loosen up. Or do you think it's an egg from a long time ago?
she's literally like it's tiptoeing out of her because she's like, a bit like constipation with his eggs. She's like, oh man.
Or maybe now that she's become like the female equivalent of a Rantalian, a flamingo female equivalent of a Rantalian, and
It's a Flantalian, I think it's called.
And got loose enough to release this egg, and previously they've all got stuck inside her, and she's a bit lumpy. But I thought that was quite a sweet story, Gertrude, the flamingo.
Finally laid an egg.
Can we put that in the paper? In our newsletter?
That'd be a good news story, I think so. Yeah.
Tell me about Despotic DIY.
Despotic DIY, yes, I'm glad you brought this up. Are you familiar with DIY SOS with Nick Knowles and some of his motley crew, the Funny Guys?
I'm not familiar. Or no, I say I'm not familiar. I don't watch it, but I am familiar with it.
I don't watch shit, so that's why I don't watch it. But what it is, so the premise of the story is that somebody's started some work and they've made a complete fucking pig's ear of it, or the house is just not good enough for them to live in. They may have some form of dependency or care situation and stuff, or just generally like the house is just a little old shit and they needed to be done. They've started the work and never bothered to do it all and all this stuff. So then Nick, as I know him, and his mates all come round with the local worksmen, tradesmen and stuff like that, and they turn it round in like a week or whatever it is, and the people come and they cry in all the rooms that they go in, and they stand outside and say to the people, "Oh, thank you so much, we really, thanks and thank you everybody." And
has he got Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen?
Sometimes he pops in as the interior designer. But because the thing is, they're all local tradesmen, right? So they all knew, so they could have just collaborated, right, and done this. They didn't need Nick Knowles. It's just, oh shit, I'm on TV. Can you give us this sink for free? And yeah, sure. Shit, I'm on camera. It's like 50 quid. Fucking hell. But no, I just thought from Despotic DIY, it's that instead of going around there and like, oh, we've not only done this for you, but we've also done this, and we've created this, and there's all these added features, and people go around going, oh wow, this is amazing, my dream home. That you go in and you just make good the thing, right? And with all the spare stuff that you've got like lying around as a company and stuff, or so it's not like bespoke, it's not anything like that. You just go there, you do it, and you just decorate. Oh right, we've got loads of this paint left. Fuck it, it's going to be fluorescent pink in their kitchen, yeah, because they can paint it if they want to. Or because fundamentally it's going to be a functional kitchen, something that they can use. All right, it might not look brilliant, but it's free, right? And it's now functional as opposed to half the kitchen's fucking bare wire.
So is this a new TV show then?
Could be a new TV show. It could just be something that happens because if it's a TV show, you're only getting a few.
Despotic is the wrong word, isn't it? You're more Spartan DIY.
Well, no, because I don't think. I mean, despotic. It could be the fact that you just go in there and you just. It's not what they want because they want all of this, this, that, and the other. But you go in and you just fix the shit that they've fucking broken, and you just go.
That's Spartan DIY.
All right, well, fine, Spartan DIY then.
But at the same time, your incorrect use of a word has given me an idea. We could also do despotic DIY. That's it. Do your deep breath. We could also do despotic DIY where we go in but you basically decorate the house like it's Nazi Germany.
Well, exactly how they don't want it and stuff. That's what I was saying. So if you get a pink wall, you think that's not how I wanted it, and you get upset about all that shit.
Oh, okay, yeah, but that's I'm actually talking about despots. We'd have it looking like Saddam Hussein's palace.
That'd be quite nice. It's full of gold shit, wasn't it? Saddam Hussein's palace. You know.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to town, couldn't you? You could go in and.
I'm trying to keep costs low, not fucking increase them.
Oh well, it'd be two different TV shows, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There'd be the one where you do it like a dictator's house.
Are you
and then
suggesting
the
that
one
it's
where
going to be on like GB News or something like that as an item or whatever, Talk TV or Channel Thump, as it's known?
Channel 5.
Back in my day. Back in my day.
You've written here Games Master, and I thought originally Codemaster, which was the computer people's, but Games Master.
It had Patrick Moore in it.
Yes, he'd be a computer, wouldn't he?
Guy who-
Like,
Sky at Night. Yeah, he was had all the metal shit on his head, and
Yeah.
and he didn't have a clue what he was talking about, and but he did a great job. I mean, he's
Why not?
a
He's
consummate
professional.
And yeah, I mean, they had lots of guests and things. They had, like, a guitarist from Iron Maiden went on to do like an early version of what's it called? Band
Guitar Hero,
Guitar
yeah.
Hero, yeah, Guitar Hero. It was like the first version. He was playing an Aerosmith song, and it's all a bit strange. But yeah, it was a great show. It's sort of along the lines of like, you know, like they had all the backgrounds eventually. They started it in a church, and then they had all the backgrounds with like CGI things when CGI was, you know, sort of 64-bit.
Yeah.
And the games they were playing were classics back then. You know, it's all the.
Did they used to have head-to-heads and stuff like that?
Head-to-heads,
Yeah.
yeah, and they were just like simple little challenges. And these are the days when, you know, I was going into like Boots, and they used to have like a demo Game Boy or something, and you play on it and be like, I want this, and you'd watch it on TV, and like watching it back on YouTube now, like it's really frustrating because like you can watch what you want on YouTube now and watch people play games for hours on end.
Crazy, isn't it?
And when you watch someone play like 5 minutes of a game and then have someone talking, 5 minutes of a game, someone talking, it is quite frustrating. But that's what TV was, you know, before the internet.
Yeah.
So it's all pre-internet. Well, I think it ran till 1998, so it's just as the internet was coming out.
So do you think it'd be worthwhile for them to bring something like that back? Because I mean, you get EA
I think
Sport.
they have.
Do they?
They have. They bought it back a year ago, I think, and it's. I think you can get the new ones on. I don't know if I think it might still be Dominic Diamond doing it, but.
What channel's this?
Yeah,
then?
but
I've never heard of this.
You can probably Google it and you'll find it on YouTube.
Oh, well,
but yeah, I'm just sort of reminiscing on the older ones, and you know, the age I was at was when the console sort of started around the time I was born, and you know, you had your Atari things and your Pong and stuff, and then you had your like Space Invaders in the arcade and stuff. I mean, arcades they don't exist like they did. They used to do. They still exist in sort of holiday resorts and like down on the pier and things, but. You know, it used to be arcades were on every corner, you know, with the Space Invaders machine and things. But then it sort of hit the 90s, and you had your consoles and your handhelds and things, and it was really, and PCs as well. Like the PCs were, you know, you're starting to be able to game and do people were programming decent games and things on PCs and Amigas and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because I mean, I was born in Yarmouth, so growing up, like having the arcades. Like you go there now, there's hardly any proper arcades. It's all fruit machines or the 2p pushes.
2p machines.
And you think, because when I used to go there, my mum would always say to me, "Don't waste all your money, you know, on these things." But you'd be playing like double.
I wasn't wasting it.
No, you were playing Double Dragon, you know, on a computer, you know, on this fantastic. And then obviously, because I had a ZX Spectrum Plus 2, and they released the game Target Renegade, which I felt was better than like Double Dragon, probably because it's a little bit easier. Because you used to have Renegade, which is 1 player, Target Renegade 2 players, brilliant. And I think I remember when I was at high school, I did 2 weeks work experience at Boots, and they had a Super Nintendo there, and they had like Sky Fox or something or other. I don't know. There was some.
Yeah, it was like a
Fox
yeah,
flying and stuff. I can't remember.
Flying Fox or something.
But 2018, they did release a mini SNES, and that had like 20 or so games on it, and I bought it, and
was it really dissatisfying?
Well, no, it was just bloody hard. I was playing Mario Kart, and I was like, flipping heck, this is hard. 50cc, 100cc, yeah, but 150. I was like, Donkey Kong, you are getting on my tits.
League Loser. de l'iguane. Iguana siglo.
You got me thinking about after last show about Sean Bean's deaf consultancy. It got me thinking about bad guys in movies and generally how poor of a shot they are. Like they just cannot shoot straight.
Yeah.
Star Wars is a good example. Pretty much most of the movies with bad guys in. So Bad Guys Boot Camp, that we train them to actually be able to shoot targets, running and shooting, building up the strength and stuff like that. Probably stop them from smoking because I know it's bad for their health and if they need stamina and all that stuff. Yeah. And just generally training them up to be, killers. And so in these films that you see where these, the good guys always win and they seem to have like an infinite amount of bullets in a six-cylinder magazine or whatever. And I just think, train these fuckers up. Let's change the way that these movies end. Imagine that, a movie where the superhero or the hero dies. Oh shit, he failed.
I think this is a good idea. I think it could be physical stuff like that, like the actual how to shoot properly, how to shoot straight. But it could also be a mental thing, so we can take them in for a bit of counselling. Really get to the bottom of why they're evil. But also, we could also look at their attitudes towards defeating the good guy, because what happens a lot of the time, particularly with James Bond movies,
don't torture them for ages. Just shoot them. Don't torture them.
Just shoot them in the head. We can make them a bit more ruthless, a bit more efficient.
Well, not so sadistic, maybe. Like if you're gonna kill him. Don't torture him by putting him on a table and putting the laser to chop his penis off and then in half.
Off then half.
Well, they were going to chop his penis off and then cut the rest of him in half, weren't they? In Goldfinger.
Were they? I don't know. I can't remember. But
do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
That'd be quite a lot of laser moving, because you'd have to move it horizontal to cut the penis off, and then back to vertical to cut it.
No, he was laying on his back, spread eagle, and then the laser's kind of cutting through the metal table. And it's going up to his, little Connery, and
so that'd be in half down the middle, wouldn't it?
Well, they cut his penis in half.
Oh yeah, then
cut him in half as it went up.
Oh, cut him in half. But I thought you meant cut his penis off and then in half.
No. Well, anyway, I'm glad you like the idea. So
I will invest in this idea.
All right, Bad Guys Boot Camp.
Before we move on to the quiz, can I just have a little bit of a misanthropic meltdown?
You can you can do what you like, as long as you don't start frothing at the mouth and getting a bit shaky.
Misanthropic meltdown.
When you go to a shop, you go to buy something, and they ask for your email address or phone number when you go through the till.
Yeah.
And because the only reason they're ever asking you for your details, they say it's to email a receipt.
That's marketing. You can opt out. No, I just don't want to opt in at all.
Yeah, exactly. And so the bit that it annoys me in two fashions. One, I don't want to give you my details because I don't want to get lots of spam.
Yes. And
any excuse, you're selling my details and then giving me something bad from it, which upsets me, which is spam. It upsets me deeply. I get very emotional.
You don't like spam.
I don't like having to delete it. It's the repetitive strain injury, and I get a lot of spam. But there's also the fact that the poor bastard who's got to ask me for my email address.
Yeah, they know they don't want
they don't want to do it. They're getting targeted on it, and they might lose their job if they don't get enough people to give their email address. Yeah. And so I'm not angry at the people who are asking me. I'm angry at the fucking companies who just want to trawl the sea of people buying shit.
Well,
and upset
do you know where around this, Tom?
Employees.
And to make you feel slightly better, is you just need to come up with an email address like fuckyoucunt at gmail.com. So they say, can I take your email address? You can say, yeah, fuck you cunt at gmail.com.
Well, you can use a fake email address, and it but then you're sort of encouraging the practice. If you perpetuate it, you've got to say no, stop doing this. But then the person who's getting the no, stop doing this is the person who's also a victim of it. And it's like just the whole idea of like packaging up people's information and selling it. What Facebook do, and it's like you get it with those reward
Oh,
cards.
nectar
for,
cards. Yeah, I know.
Nectar
Club
cards and
cards.
things. It's like it's all just they're not giving away money for free. They're selling your details for more money than they're giving out.
Karaoke consequences.
Can you quiz me?
I'm going to quiz you. I'm going to quiz the life out of you.
Don't kill me.
So there's 5.
Don't kill me with your quiz.
I'm not going to. Oh, yeah, let's get quizzical, quizzical. I want to get. Anyway, so yeah. Obviously, I lost the last episode, so my song will follow this. In terms of this week's forfeit for the loser, what it is that you have either 5. You have 5 names, right? It's either their original name or a name that they created for themselves. So I will give you a name. Say, for example, I said to you Elton John. Then you have to tell me his real name, which is
Reg Dwight.
Reginald Dwight. Yes.
Yeah.
So there are
So I get a
5,
point for that.
right? And of these 5, because they're all musicians, the ones that you get wrong, we will choose a song, or for example, the ones that you get, whatever. Say for example, you win the ones that you get right, then I would have to sing a song from one of those. You can select the artiste, and I will choose the song. And obviously the flip side of it is the ones, say for example you get it wrong, if there's all 5, then you get to you've got to choose one from the band that they're in or something. So are you ready?
That didn't make sense, but I'm sure it'll make sense to me.
I'll tell you at the end what artists if you get it wrong. So the first one is John Ritchie. Who is he better known as?
John Lennon.
No, it was Sid Vicious. Iggy Pop. What was his real name?
What's Iggy Pop's real name? I haven't got a clue.
No, James Osterberg Jr. And the name Brian Warner.
Brian Warner. That rings a bell. Is he the guy from the Beach Boys?
No, that's Brian Wilson. He's never changed his name. Brian Warner. You've got to get this right. If not, you are definitely singing the end of the next
Well,
show.
I think I'm onto a loser because I got obviously Reg Dwight.
No, that was the
Correct,
example.
but- Exactly, that's the only one I knew. Though.
So do you want me to tell you who?
I think that, I know. Cliff Richards.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you the initials of Brian Warner. All right, MM.
Marilyn Manson.
Yes, you got that right. Right.
Can I get the initials of the next 2 as well? Then?
No, because you probably get these. Oh shit! If you do get, oh no, right, this is a half. Right, that's a half point because I gave the initials. Because if you get the next 2 right, then we'll have to do a duet. All right, you get this one. Sting. What is he better? What's his real name?
Oh, I can only think of the name of the drummer Copeland. No, I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, no. Gordon Sumner is Sting. So you are singing the next show. And who is Dave Evans better known as?
Axl Rose.
No, his name, I think is William Axl Rose was his, I think he's changed his name to, doesn't it, I think? No, Dave Evans is The Edge from U2.
Okay.
So...
You can see why he changed his name to the... Is he, like, by default The Edge?
No, I think it's just what it's because it's like Bono, isn't it? Bono Vox. His name's Paul Hewson. Is that sense? So you got a Sid Vicious, Iggy Pop, Sting, and The Edge, or U2. You got those wrong. So I'm gonna either choose the Sex Pistols, Iggy Pop, Sting, or the Police, or a U2 song. Do you have any preferences?
What's going to be easiest to sing? I mean, Bono's stuff's quite
No, I think.
up and down. I don't want to sing a Sex Pistols song because I don't like them.
I tell you what, right? I know what, because we talked about it earlier on. We talked about the pandemic, right? And we were talking about clapping for carers and everything else. During the pandemic, I changed my ringtone, right, on my phone, and I'll quickly give you a little blast of it No. And this is the song that I'd like you to sing for the next show. And so it used to go on loop.
That's like so out of my range. It's untrue.
Well, do you know what? When I listen to
Don't stand so
that's fine. Well, when I
close
listen
to me.
to Paranoid, it sounded like the guy who sang the Only Fools and Horses theme tune, kind of doing. All right. Well, look. Okay. Look.
I'm an octave down and not a brummie, so that's why it's turned out.
Okay, look, do you know what? I'll be really fair, right, on this, because I will say to you, you can choose a song then by the Sex Pistols, by Iggy Pop, by Sting or the Police, or a song by U2. You can go, and that'll be a surprise for me. Then that'll give you something to look forward to.
Ooh, thank you. With this choice, you're really spoiling me.
Yeah. Well, before we listen to my karaoke consequence, do we know what we're doing on the next show?
I haven't got a clue.
You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love becomes a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire, yeah. The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love becomes a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire, yeah. You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on 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 fire.